Hey guys, how's it going? Dragox55 here, and today I'm here to show off Toons. Even though you can only see like one over there in the Toon tables and, you know. Anyways, so basically this deck was requested to me, and the guy's like, can you make a good Toon deck? I'm like, okay, I will try my best, even though Toons are a lot better on DevPro, to be honest. Because they just got more support on DevPro with the Comic Can, well no, Comic Can's already out on DevPro. The Shadow Toon, the Comic Rollback, or Toon Rollback, or something like that, I don't know. But, you know, they're not super bad on here, so there's 3 different ways you could play Toons on here. So if you don't like the rank 4 spam way as I do, then you can try 2 different ways. One way is to use the spellcaster based Toons and use Secret Village of Spellcasters, I think it's called. And then there's the other way where you just go for like beatdown basically and use the bigger guys, use trade-ins and stuff, so it's pretty good. But I think this one is the more reliable method and can deal with a lot more stuff than the other two, but hey, that's just my opinion. So let's actually get into the deck, shall we? First off, we have a Dark Armed, and I like to do this so you guys can see it. So Dark Armed, you need 3 darks exactly in the grave to special summon him. In here you have enough darks where it's not too much of a clutter, but it's not too little that you don't ever get him out. Anyways, you banish a dark in the grave and you blow up a card in the field. You could play Necroface in here too if you really wanted to recycle the remove from play dark monsters, but I don't think it's needed. I would stick with Burial from a Different Dimension or something like that. It's a spell card that you return 3 cards, or is it 3 monsters from your remove from play zone, so I would recommend that if you really feel the need, but I don't think it's really needed. So yeah, 1 Dark Armed, 3 Kate Tokages. Since a lot of the Toon monsters in here are normal summon, because we're not playing the special summon ones really, except for like Toon Mermaids and Dark Magician Girl. So yeah, so we're playing 3 of these, so each one of the Toons I summon, or even Summoner Monk, you could summon it and then you can bring this guy out, so it's like a plus like 2. If you do it with one of the regular Toons, it's just +1. If you do it with Summoner Monk, you have 3 monsters, you can make the Ouroboros. We'll get into the extra deck later, but really good for making rank 4 spams. Next up we have 2 Summoner Monks. This deck has a total of 16 spells, as you can see, so having Summoner Monk is not too bad if you're using a deck that requires a lot of spells. Well, that uses a lot of spells. So, anyways, so you summon him, he automatically goes into defense. And his thing is that you can discard a spell and special summon a level 4 monster, but it cannot attack. And for the matter of 2 things, it doesn't matter that it can't attack. 1, Toon monsters, except for Toon Dark Magician Girl, cannot attack on the first turn they're summoned. You can try like Skill Drain or Forbidden Chalice, but at that point you might as well just play Malefic Skill Drain, so, you know. From what I've read, you can't just like go negate and then unnegate anything, so don't ask what I'm asking about or talking about. And from what I've heard, there's no way to actually make Toons attack on the first turn other than Dark Magician Girl, so there goes the traps, I guess. So yeah, it doesn't matter that they can't attack because Toons can't attack other than Dark Magician Girl. And it really doesn't matter because you're going to go into Exceed anyways if you're usually putting this out on the field. So it's pretty good. 2 Cannon Soldiers, really I'm just using for dark attributes for Dark Armed or whatever, but it is a really nice card if you're like really in a pinch and you're just like inches away from winning, you could do that. Also, Cannon Soldier is really great because it's not a once per turn tribute. So what you can do is if you have Dark Armed, and let's say you only have like one Dark, like Hateko, whatever, in the grave, and you have Cannon Soldier and another Kate Togage, usually you would go for an Exceed, but if they have, actually, this is a really bad example. Just basically, if you have, like, you're missing, like, in a duel I did, I'm missing one Dark. So what I did was I did Summoner Monk, discard, or no, I did Toon Table Contents search, and then get out Toon Cannon Soldier, tribute itself for 500 damage, summon Dark Arms, and destroyed anything else that was a problem. He's really good in getting Darks in the grave. That's all you really need to know, and other than that, just use him for Summoner Monk and make some Exceeds or something. Toon Dark Magician Girl, she is a 2000 attack point. She can attack the turn she's summoned. You have to pay 500, right? That's what the roll is? No? No, okay. It's not that case. The other ones you do. Like the stronger Dark Toon Toon cards or whatever. Anyway, so she gains 300 for any Dark Magician or Magician Black Chaos, not that that matters. She's in there for just Dark and being a stronger monster. Also another thing, you can only attack directly if you have Toon World, so yeah, that's the thing about Toons. They can't attack directly unless you have Toon World. I mean, they could attack directly if there's no monsters, I mean, but they can't attack directly through monsters, so. She's pretty good. Personally, like in terms of things, I like to use her to get more targets in there for Dark Arm to like summon out Toon Cannon Soldier and then bring out Dark Magician Girl. Then you'd have a 2000 beater, then drop the Dark Armed and, you know, stuff like that. Personally, if I had a choice, I'd probably switch her out for Caius, because Caius is more like reliable and more usable, I think. But she does win duels if if you just need an extra attack or need a little more attacks or whatever. She's good for beating down, but I would personally play Caius over her if anything. 3 Toon Gemini Elf, it's a must, I personally say. Obviously she can't attack, but so when she does get damage to the opponent, they randomly discard, and that's really good because for some reason, anytime I'm playing this deck, they usually have a hard time getting rid of her. So I like to put out like 3 of them. Even in Dev Pro, I just put out like 1 Toon Kingdom, set a card, and turn. And then they're like, oh, I'll attack over Toon Gemini Elf, and they don't read Toon Kingdom and stuff. So, yeah. But she is probably one of the more annoying of the Toons, not in terms of, like, for you, for your opponent. Because losing cards from your hand is pretty annoying. Especially if you have, like, Dark Hole or something and this card just hits it. And then you're like, no. It's really good if you hit MST, because then you're, like, really good off, so. Yeah, 3 of those for sure. We have 2 Toon Goblin Attack Force. Same thing as Goblin Attack Force, where it goes to defense after attacking. And can attack directly if you have Toon Whirl, obviously. But really, I don't really use him too much. I just put him out, like turn 1 or something, just in case if I had to deal with someone's like deck where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna summon a bunch of weaker monsters and start attacking over you, and you just bring out Goblin Attack Force and it just sits there, and your opponent's like, darn it, now I can't get over your monster because it has a bunch of attack. It's really good to start off and just summon him, but after like a little while it kind of gets useless of having him, so that's why we only play 2. And here's the other rank 4 spam card that I like to use is Toon Mermaid. She can be special summoned when Toon World is on the field, or must be. Yeah, Toon Mermaid and Dark Magician Girl have to be summoned when Toon World's out. Anyways, that's the only downside of these cards. And her thing is you can special summon her, pay 500 to declare an attack, which really I've never attacked this card, so I don't feel the need to do that. Anyways, so we special summon her, we summon her or him or whatever, and then we can pretty much, like, if you have Toon World, you can get like all 3 of them out and summon a rank 4 that uses 3 materials. So, you know, it's pretty good. It's a really good idea if you're planning on playing Toons to maybe run this. If you're using Dev Pro, I wouldn't run this because of the fact that I feel like it's kind of slow. And really, if you need monsters out on the field, that this will just be a dead card in your hand, and if you don't have Toon World, yada yada yada. So, you know, I don't really think it's... In Dev Pro, I wouldn't use it, but in this game, I think it's pretty nice. But remember, you have to have Toon World to special summon her. And when you special summon all 3 or 1 or whatever, you might want to go for a rank play. Exceed play, that's what it is. Alright, so we got an Allure of Darkness. When you play a lot of dark monsters, usually you play this and you banish 1 dark after drawing 2 cards. You pretty much are not going to run out of darks to banish because you have, like, see, 4, 8, 10, yeah, 10 darks. There's no way you're gonna not have a target for this. Okay, so then we have Magic Planter. I'm playing 3 of these. Personally, I don't know any really good spell cards or whatever that lets you draw. And in this type of deck, I'd rather not use Polyduality like I do in Dev Pro. Because in Dev Pro, Toon Kingdom protects your cards and you don't need to worry about special summoning. Just summon your monster and they can't do squat about it. In this one, you can't just summon out like Toon Gemini Elf past turn after using Polyduality because they'll probably run it over. So, yeah. If you know of any other better draw spell card, then go right ahead and use it. Because there's like Upstarts, Reckless Greeds, except Reckless Greed is not too great in this deck because you don't want to stop drawing. If you do stop drawing and you don't have anything to protect yourself, you're going to get wrecked. Anyways, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. Toon Kingdom's not here to protect you, so either play 3 Lance or 3 MST. Personally, I like MST a little better than Lance in this situation because of the fact that it doesn't decrease my monster's attack and it lets me get over stuff. And plus, Dark Arm acts more like MST also, so, you know. 3 Toon Table of Contents. If you don't run this in Toons, you're doing Toons wrong. I can tell you that already. This card will search out pretty much anything in here. The Cannon Soldiers, the Dark Magician Girls, the Toon Gemini Elves, the Goblin Attack Force, the Mermaids, you know. Allure of Darkness is also great if you want to just add the Toon Dark Magician Girl and just banish her for like whatever reason. Also another good card in here would be Plague Spreader because you can just go for synchro plays like level 8s, level 6, and whatever's. I just decided rank 4s all the way. But Plague Spreader is another good card if you plan on doing a little more with this deck than I did. 3 Toon World. On one hand, it's not 100% needed, but for you to play this deck, I feel like it's really, really needed. Yet true, you lose 1,000, but it's not really that problematic. Most people are going to end up MSTing this, so you really want to go into those ranks really quickly. Because if you don't, you're going to get MST'd, and the downside is if this is destroyed while the toons are out, they get destroyed, so. Yeah, so the forewarning, if you summon out Toon Gemini Elf, but you don't have another card to summon out like Toon Mermaid, and you're not going to go for a whole nother play, do not use Toon King, Toon World, because that would not be a great idea. If this was Dev Pro, I would not be against it, because Toon Kingdom is really, really good. But Toon World, if you plan on using it, make sure you have plays like Toon Mermaids or Toon Dark Magician Girls, or you're planning on attacking directly, because otherwise you're just wasting a card, and you're just going to lose your card as well. So keep that in mind with Toon World. So 3 is really kind of a little much. Maybe 2 would be fine, but I play 3 just so I can draw out it and use Toon Mermaids as soon as I can. I also play upstarts in here because of the fact that I just want to draw. Like, Toons really don't have a quick engine. They don't really have like Toon draw cards, or like, you know, Sylvans where they can return draw 3, turn 2, or something like that, or whatever stuff. They don't really have draw engines. They just have the Toon table contents, which searches. And that's only 3 out of 40 cards that you're going to be drawing into, so having the 40 cards, 3 out of 40 cards is really low of chance, so the extra, let's see, 3, 5, and then there's 3 of these, so that's 6. 11 cards is really nice. Now you might be asking, what are we using for protection since we don't have Toon Kingdom? Well, we're running 3 Phoenix Chain because we're running Magic Planter. I feel like having negation of a monster's ability is really good because of the fact that there's a lot of other ranks and stuff that can do stuff. So 3 Phoenix Chain is not too bad. It'll stop monsters from attacking, and 80% of the time on this game, there's going to be someone running in effect monsters, so. And the other 20%, they're gonna like throw a Vorce Raider at you, and I'm not kidding either. But that's only like a downside thing, so, you know. Phoenix Chain, really nice, stops the opponent from attacking. It's a continuous trap, so you can Magic Planter. But what I like to use Magic Planter with is Magic Vanity's Emptiness, and I feel like this card is really, really good in this game. And here's why. So, in this game, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, special summon, especially since Dragon Rulers are a thing in this game. Throwing out a Vanity's Emptiness pretty much shuts them down. Like, if you're wondering how to stop Dragon Rulers, you might as well use Emptiness. Some people might be like, well, there's a problem with this theory because of the fact that Blaster can blow up this card. Yeah, that can happen, but Blaster is the 3 chances. I mean, they can draw a lot, but this card really shuts them down. Along with Thunder King, which I kind of recommend, not really. I mean, you could run Thunder King and BLS if you want to, but I wouldn't do it. Because Thunder King also shuts them down. Other trap cards, because I didn't bother making a side deck because I didn't think about it. Other trap cards I would recommend running is Mistake, because that would stop Dragon Rulers as well. And, you know, that's the only reason I'm talking about Thunder King and Mistake, because if you're battling Dragon Rulers or dueling Dragon Rulers, then those are the best times to use those cards. But for everything else, Vanity's Emptiness pretty much cleans up field, so. So you can watch the tag video and you can see that, you know, I don't think I draw into this, but this would clean up house pretty much. For anyone that doesn't play Vanity's Emptiness, keep in mind that if you lose a card while this card's on the field, it gets destroyed. So it has to hit the grave, so if it gets destroyed by battle or by Mirror Force, you lose this card. if you get deprisoned, you don't lose this card. You detach, you don't lose this card. So that's why having XYZs is really good. And you might be like, well, you just talked about how this is a rank 4 spam deck and special summoning all the time. Why would I use something that prevents me from special summoning? Because this is what you do. You special summon out like something really OP, and then you activate Vanity's Emptiness when your opponent activates something to special summon, which will shut down like Gishkis, Atlanteans, well, Atlanteans actually, I think, can mill out of water things, so maybe not Atlanteans, but stops Judgment Dragons, it stops. I'm trying to think what the heck people play in this deck. It stops Evil Swarms, because they usually like to go to Ophion first turn, but they can't do that, then, you know. Which brings me to another thing, Crimson Blader and Ophion don't hurt this deck, so don't worry about it. They only stopped Toon Dark Magician Girl and Dark Arm. That's the only thing they can stop in this deck, so. That's enough talking about the deck. We'll talk about the extra deck. I play 2 Black Ship of Corns. The extra deck didn't fix itself, so. Yeah, I feel like this is more needed than what I was running. And as I said, I don't say this is not going to be like what you should run. This is what I run because of the fact that I don't feel like we have enough good support in the rank 4s. And, you know, if we had a Castile and a 101, then, and the Evil Swarm card, then I would be like, you just make those, you know, pretty good cards. But we don't have those 3, and we're stuck with the more common ones, so we have to make do with whatever. So we got Black Ship. You can detach to send something weak to the grave. Dweller, you're really never going to make this unless if you're battling a deck that involves the graveyard, like zombies. Wait, let me think about this. Yeah, zombies like to do stuff. And Dark Worlds. Dark Worlds hate this card. Keep in mind if you use this card that Grapha bypasses this card's thing, so it can be brought back from the grave. Everything else can't be, so that's pretty much all you need to know about that. Digesto Emerald, just for recycling, you know, pretty good. Diamond Dyer, I like this pretty much a lot because I do Summoner Monk, Cannon Soldier, then Diamond Dyer, Bullet back card. Then I'll have 2 Darks in the grave and pretty much have Dark Armed at that point. We also get like 3 level 4s out really quickly in this deck, so here's Evil Swarm Ouroboros. Personally my favorite of the level 3, level 4 monsters, because if you know on DevPro, everyone makes the, what's it called, makes the Cyber Infinity Dragon, and that card is stupidly OP. So the second best is Ouroboros, and even though you can only activate 1 of these effects while this card is face out, it pretty much helps because of the fact that this card can bounce a card back, so it's like Compulse. You can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Well, it's Send, so that Dark World players don't get their effects, of course. But it's really good if you bring him out like turn 1, activate effects, send a card to the grave. Your opponent's working 5 cards, of course, but you know, you never know what you're going to hit in their first hand that they probably were going to use or really needed. And you can banish a target from the grave. I don't really think that one's more as useful, but you know, no, you can't activate it on your opponent's turn. If you can activate it on your opponent's turn, I would be like, this card, that effect is great. But since you can't, you pretty much have to guess which one is a good target to banish in the grave, so yeah. Cowboy, we only ever play Cowboy to finish off the opponent. Gemini Pearl, I know it's a little bit of a weird thing. I was trying to figure out what XYZ's put in. But this one's really good because I can summon him out without having to deal with Venus Chains, so that's pretty good. This one is pretty nice to get Kate Tokages or whatever. You detach and you get a reptile. So, and if you didn't know, these are all reptiles. We only play one because we're only running 3 Kate Tokages and not a reptile deck like aliens. A stroke, pretty nice. Flips the card face down. I usually go into this a lot if I only have 2 of the cards. Because he prevents destruction for once. So it's really nice. Really nice. So this card, I just put it in. It like negates stuff. And you can mill a top card from your opponent's deck. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. If they're running Lightsworn, I would not do that, but if they're not running Lightsworn, then by all means. I already talked about Black Shipcorns. Key Beetle's really nice because you can choose Toon World or whatever, protect this card. Of course, Toon World would get destroyed, so it's not really that great. So, yeah. And this card flips over face down stuffs. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. Make sure you leave your comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.